Hello people, Complaining Gamer here, and today I'm reviewing Black Ops, so let's do it.
Disclaimer. Due to the magnitude and popularity of this title, the Complaining Gamer understands and respects that the world does not want spoilers, so the following content contains observations and opinions made by the Complaining Gamer himself.
The game starts out in a scene that wouldn't be out of place from a Saw film. You play the role of Alex Mason and you find yourself strapped down in an electric chair being interrogated. The theme that carries throughout is that Mason finds himself in a state of denial and constant semi-consciousness. Your interrogator is constantly probing you for information on the numbers. This becomes a contentious issue for Mason and leads to deep frustration because Mason has no comprehension of what the interrogator is asking. The numbers are one of the most important issues in the story and are presented to you very early on, but they're not explained until the very end. The story is presented in a series of flashbacks and flash forwards, all within Mason's mind and his lifetime. The linking scenes between levels are presented in a series of memories and what appears to be a glimpse at the ultimate truth and top secret documents, with an overriding theme of the numbers constantly reoccurring. As you would expect, Black Ops plays and feels like a traditional Call of Duty game, with the same controls and that crisp 60 frames per second. However, at times of high activity the frames can drop slightly. Some of the scenarios you can expect to experience are assassination, rescue, interrogation and sabotage. The game does feature many real-time animations as well as room breach and clears, along with the obligatory super slow-mo. Moving on to the locations in the game, this is one of those things that literally drew me in and kept me there. Without giving too much away, I can tell you that the game takes place across several continents. I found each new location to be as believable as the last, really adding to the immersiveness of the experience. Whether you choose the people or the environments, the overall settings just felt very believable. The game does feature vehicle sequences and some that have never been seen before in a Call of Duty title, but once again, like I said before, that is something I do not wish to ruin for all of you, but trust me when I say your jaws will drop. Now, to just talk about a new game mechanic, the dive. To do this, all you have to do is run and then hold down B, and you'll go from running into a prone. In all honesty, I didn't find it particularly useful in multiplayer or campaign, but it's a nice little touch, I suppose. Another point to note is that you can change the difficulty in real time during a mission. But the strange downside to this is there's no restart from checkpoint option. It's restart the whole mission or save and quit. The main people I can see this affecting are those going for an achievement. However, you can just grenade yourself. Touching on this very quickly, I would just like to say that the guns in this game are immense, but there are far too many to cover, but there were two that really sort of stood out for me. The first is a gun which fires incendiary rounds, and all I can say is you wait till you get to use this. The second gun is the crossbow with the explosive arrows, and for those of you wondering, I'm not spoiling anything, all of this was in the trailers. On Recruit and Regular, you can knock out this game in around 5 to 7 hours. On Hardened and Veteran, you could easily push that to around 10 to 15 hours. Is this game the hardest veteran from a COD series? Perhaps not, but what it does have is the obligatory drop in a bullet. Black Ops also sees the return of infinite respawns in certain sections of the game, and this might be particularly frustrating to those of you playing on veteran. My initial impression of the graphics was that they were very good but not overwhelming. However, they were good enough to give you that feeling of immersion. The visual spectacles arrive in peaks and valleys, with moments that are stunning and some that are less than satisfactory. More importantly, the graphics never come to a point that take you away from that immersive experience. One aspect of the game that was and is always done well is the explosions and smoke. I, like many people, am guilty of judging Treyarch before even playing the game, simply because of the quality that Infinity Ward are known to produce. Even though I went into this game with preconceived notions, Treyarch managed to win me over in an amazing fashion. I can appreciate how vague I've been with certain aspects of the game, but trust me when I say that it's for the best, it's the right decision, because one, I don't want to ruin the experience for you, and two, I wouldn't want to desensitise you to certain events that take place. More importantly, you can only have that first time experience once, and you don't want that to be whilst watching a video. One aspect of the game that really gave it some gravitas were the moments of extreme violence. Without showing you those moments, let me play you the audio with some on-screen reactions from me.
Your choice. This is not good.
Okay, so I'm just playing, but the game does have graphic violence, and at the start you have the option whether you want to turn it on or off like Modern Warfare 2. I, for one, appreciate the graphic nature of the game because it reflects the reality of war. The gore is done in a very believable and harsh way. To those of you who want to say this game is not suitable for kids, you're absolutely right. Get those little f***ing shits off it. Some of you will say it's over the top and unnecessary, but in my opinion, it just makes the game more immersive, more believable, and leads to just a better overall experience. Black Ops is the first COD title to be able to boast that it has dialogue for the main character. This leads me to my next point about voice acting, and in this game I thought the voice acting was absolutely amazing.
Whose war? Who the fuck are you anyway? Huh? God.
Going back to the point about why you should buy this game, you need to bear in mind that I've barely even scratched the surface with the new things that Treyarch have brought to this game. So some of the things I weren't even able to touch on were the new vehicle sequences, the new gun scenarios. I mean, there's new gameplay mechanics that have never been seen before in a COD game. So do yourself a favour and get it, you won't regret it. For me, the story was just brilliant, and dare I say better than Modern Warfare 2's. The reason I say that is because in Black Ops, the story just feels more grounded in a potential reality, whereas Modern Warfare 2 was very Hollywood, it was very over-the-top cinematic, and this game is still very cinematic, however, it just felt more believable. Two final notes about the single player. You might notice that there's no timed training mission at the start, and also there is intel, so for those of you that love collectibles, go crazy. If I had to describe the single player in 3 words and give it a rating, it would be intense, epic and difficult, and with a rating of 9 out of 10. I'm going to come clean with you people, I've never been a fan of zombies, it's just something that's never particularly appealed to me. But I can appreciate that people do like it, so here's what you can expect. Straight off the bat, you can play Xbox Live, split screen, system link and solo. Initially, the map selection is weak with an option of just one map unless you have 1, completed the game, and 2, unlocked an Easter egg. It's important to note that the Easter egg is not the traditional zombies that you're used to. Treyarch have clearly gone with the if it ain't broke, don't fix it philosophy of keep everything the same because that's what people like. So in this game, you can expect the same sort of guns, the same sort of power-ups, and the traditional zombie gameplay that you're used to. There's not much else to report other than if you liked World at War zombies, you're going to like Black Ops zombies. Combat Mission is being sold as a way that you can play competitive multiplayer with your friends or against AI for those of you that aren't comfortable with playing against the rest of the world in ranked gameplay. You control all of the game settings including the difficulty of the AI, and when it's set to veteran, I kid you not, the AI play better than most people online. Something that I wasn't aware of and that put a huge smile on my face was that in Combat Mission, the game puts you against its AI, but the AI have been named the people on your friends list. So in a way, it was kind of fun to play against these people that they're not actually playing, it's the AI, but they've been given the same name. In my opinion, the reason this game type fails is because you can only access it through Xbox Live. So the whole point of you being unable to play multiplayer and whatnot, because you might not want to, or you might be offline, the people who are offline don't have a choice. They can't play Combat Mission. So here we are, people, the bit everyone actually cares about. And just to be clear, I'm not going to be covering everything. 2 reasons. 1, it's impossible in 5 minutes. And 2, over the coming days, weeks and months, every last little nuance of this game is going to be picked apart, and the market is going to be oversaturated with Call of Duty data. So I'm just going to be going over very quickly the key selling points for me. Firstly, the game does feature host migration. I've tried out the new gunship and it's pretty freaking awesome. Right trigger is your cannon and left trigger is your rockets. But the big thing about this gunship is you can actually fly it around the map. Another big selling point for me was the RC car, the exploding RC car, and I can tell you right now it is fun as hell. And after a while, if you don't blow it up, it will just detonate itself. Probably the biggest selling point for me is the theatre. When I knew that was going to be in the game, I was really pumped up for this game. Giving a quick shout out to all the editors out there, those of you that use Twixtor and you're always looking for that super slow-mo. Well, you don't need to bother with that anymore. Now that you've got the theatre, you can do that super slow-mo with the controls. Also, you can finally watch back that lag that you were convinced was there. One thing that I found a little bit weird about the information the theatre captured was that it didn't always translate to what you saw on your screen. For example, this clip right here, apparently I just stood still. Another reason the theatre is good is because not only can you record the clips, but you can also take screenshots. And obviously with the video and the screenshots, you can share these with your friends. But another thing it does extremely well is the ability for you and a friend or several friends to watch the clip. As far as I know, the information isn't stored on the box, it's stored on a server, so you all download it together, very quick, and watch it together. It works a lot better than any system Halo's ever used. One of the first things you'll notice when you get into a game is that the overall game speed feels a little bit slower, but it does drastically change depending on the class you are. For example, going from an LMG class to an SMG class. I also felt as though the game punishes those spray and prayers a little bit more now across long distances. Talking quickly about classes, loadouts and perks. Now in Black Ops you don't strictly level up to gain access to everything. Some things are given to you. For example, you have to level up to get access to the guns. But in terms of perks, you're given every single perk. And to get these, to get the items, you pay with COD credits, and you earn COD credits by playing the game. Another feature to mention would be the contract system, and in the contract system there are many different challenges that refresh every 24 hours. Some of them have got time restrictions on how long you have to achieve them, and the point to them is basically you do them and you can get XP and COD credits. At any one time you can pick one contract per category. There are 3 categories, so you can pick 3 contracts to run with. Another big selling point that Treyarch really were trying to push forward was the new wager match system. Now, this is where you basically gamble your COD credits, and it's all free-for-all based game types. For example, one of them is the one in the chamber where you have 1 bullet, and to gain more bullets you get kills, and if you miss a kill, you miss a bullet, you only have a knife, etc, etc. I can tell you now that I played that game type and it was actually a lot of fun. I thought the campaign was amazing and the multiplayer was pretty good as well. My only concern is that it isn't that dissimilar to Modern Warfare 2, and the argument is how much of the same thing or something very similar can you play before you get bored. One thing I will say is that the game feels very balanced at the minute and nothing feels too overpowered. If you spam both triggers, Mason will get out of the chair, and if you go to the back right corner of the room you'll find a computer. If on that computer you type DOA, you'll actually get into the Dead Ops arcade game, and it's just a really fun arcade zombie killer. Now, if I'm to have any complaints, they're mostly going to come from multiplayer, and they are the fact that even now, already in Black Ops, you've got boosters, you've got turbo padders, but not only that, you're having to deal with lag. Another complaint would be for the zombie people who have been screwed over on map packs, and they're going to have to pay for more maps. My only campaign complaint is that your squad mates are useless. In closing, I would just like to say thank you for watching, and that has been another review from The Complaining Gamer.